Life has its own hidden forces which you can only discover by living. It was completely fruitless to quarrel with the world, whereas the quarrel with oneself was occasionally fruitful and always, she had to admit, interesting. If I am capable of grasping God objectively, I do not believe, but precisely because I cannot do this I must believe. Once you label me, you negate me. Love does not alter the beloved, it alters itself. Since boredom advances and boredom is the root of all evil, no wonder, then, that the world goes backwards, that evil spreads. This can be traced back to the very beginning of the world. The gods were bored, therefore they created human beings. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. There is nothing with which every man is so afraid as getting to know how enormously much he is capable of doing and becoming. Don't forget to love yourself. Purity of heart is to will one thing. There are, as is known, insects that die in the moment of fertilization. So it is with all joy, life's highest, most splendid moment of enjoyment is accompanied by death. People commonly travel the world over to see rivers and mountains, new stars, garish birds, freak fish, grotesque breeds of human. They fall into an animal stupor that gapes at existence and they think they have seen something. How absurd men are! They never use the liberties they have, they demand those they do not have. They have freedom of thought, they demand freedom of speech. Love is all, it gives all, and it takes all. One can advise comfortably from a safe port. Marriage brings one into fatal connection with custom and tradition, and traditions and customs are like the wind and weather, altogether incalculable. Boredom is the root of all evil, the despairing refusal to be oneself. Concepts, like individuals, have their histories and are just as incapable of withstanding the ravages of time as are individuals. But in and through all this they retain a kind of homesickness for the scenes of their childhood. I feel as if I were a piece in a game of chess, when my opponent says of it, that piece cannot be moved. It seems essential, in relationships and all tasks, that we concentrate only on what is most significant and important. I begin with the principle that all men are bores. Surely no one will prove himself so great a bore as to contradict me in this. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. Trouble is the common denominator of living. It is the great equalizer. It belongs to the imperfection of everything human that man can only attain his desire by passing through its opposite. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. A man who as a physical being is always turned toward the outside, thinking that his happiness lies outside him, finally turns inward and discovers that the source is within him. Far from idleness being the root of all evil, it is rather the only true good.